Hello, good afternoon. In today's edition of the Marketplace, Millennium Challenge Corporation sets September 2021 as completion date for Ghana's second compact program as it raises concerns about ECG's privatization and the PDS saga. We have details on this developing story. Also, the National Board for Small-Scale Industries promises massive funding for small businesses as part of its new identity. Meanwhile, economists send red alerts that Ghana's GDP will suffer if the stimulus packages are not paid back.
To say it's for free will be strange because those funds were not funds that were internally generated from our revenues. They were funds that we went borrowing for. And so for nothing at all, we have to pay those funds back the same way we gave them out.
Plus, Cocoa Board to revamp Ghana's lax coffee industry as the country loses about $10 billion in trade potential of the cash crop. We have details on all these stories and more coming up shortly after this break. And you're welcome back. I'm Charles Aya. Now, the Millennium Challenge Corporation is hoping to officially end Ghana's compact program in September next year. This was contained in an email from the chief executive of the corporation, Sean Cancross, in Washington, D.C. to Joy Business. George Raffi has more in this report.
According to the Millennium Challenge Corporation, the program is in its last year of operation and will focus on completing key investments, largely in the Greater Accra region. The Power Compact is also working to improve the infrastructure of Ghana's southern distribution network, increase reliability and power access to key markets, and advance energy efficiency program. The corporation is targeted September 6th to officially complete the program. On the PDS saga, the corporation described it as disappointing as to how government has handled it, adding that it was forced to withdraw some additional $190 million that was supposed to have been advanced to Ghana to support the completion of the program. But are the current challenges with how government has handled the privatization of ECG affect the country's ability to qualify for the third compact? Well, the chief executive of the Millennium Challenge Corporation noted that the board of the corporation is yet to select countries that will be eligible for the third compact. However, his focus now is on how to successfully close the page when it comes to the second compact. However, Joy Business has learned that due to how government handled this PDS issue, it is likely that it may not be selected for the third compact. But the chief executive in an email to Joy Business was, however, quick to add that they were satisfied with how Ghana has managed the program so far and was looking forward to working with the government in the future. Ghana in 2014 initiated the second compact to the U.S. government to help deal with challenges in the energy sector. Or the year to the completion of the program, question still remains whether the program has been able to help transform the energy sector.
Still stay on the energy sector because the opposition NDC has rejected suggestions of being the cause of current predicaments facing the sector, insisting it's better placed to better manage the energy sector. The party made these proposals when it took its turn at the Seaboard Energy Manifesto Town Hall for the main political parties. George Raffi was monitoring the particular engagement and has more in this report.
The town hall meeting, organized by the Chamber of Bulk Distribution Companies, offered the NDC an opportunity to engage players in the energy sector in terms of their manifesto and how they intend to deal with problems facing the sector. The NDC team, which was led by the former Energy Minister, Emmanuel Amarko-Fibua, took turns to explain to players on what they intend doing to help put the sector on a strong footing.
I think it is very clear, and I remember President Mahama saying that. So why won't we engage you when we are in government? If we engage you on these critical issues of national interest, we have to be very open to engage you, and we are ready to do that. But our record is clear. It is the NDC government, for example, that passed the fuel marking regulations to make sure we stop the evasion of taxes and the smuggling issues.
The other speakers of the program included Alex Mode, said Tekpe, former Deputy Energy Minister John Jinapo, who also engaged the industry players in trying to address all their concerns. Speaking to Joy Business after the industry engagement, former Energy Minister Emmanuel Amarko-Fibua argued that the party has what it takes to deal with all the issues facing the sector.
Demand for electricity was growing 200 megawatts every year, yet we didn't have a system in place, so we were caught hands down. So the NDC had to bring a short-term and long-term solution in terms of generation to address that problem. We had a problem with, of course, indebtedness all over. And we brought a solution. And don't let anybody deceive you. That solution was very comprehensive. A financial solution through ESLA. And if you listen to the Honorable Sektekpe, the strategy was that we have been able to clear it if our program had been followed.
The Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution Companies, which put together the program, noted that the engagement is expected to help better shape energy policies of the political parties. Senyor Kosi is Chief Executive of the Chamber.
Well, as a Chamber, we are a policy house, and we believe that one of the most critical avenues for influencing and shaping policies that are constructive for the sustenance of the industry and the development of the country is the primary policy tool, which is the manifesto that the parties are going to put up. So with all that's been brought, you read their manifesto, it's a bit scanty. So it's necessary that we create an avenue or a platform for industry players to interrogate the policy stance through the manifesto that the parties have tabled, and more importantly, share with them policy options and alternatives that are a lot more relevant for industry. These are politicians. They may consult but may not consult properly.
The town hall meeting is to offer the players in the energy sector to engage the two major political parties on what they have to do to address all their concerns. The new patriotic party is expected to take its turn this Friday.
Well, energy expert Ben Boakye wants the suspension of the Ijapa royalties deal sustained until all concerns are addressed. Now, this is coming after the special prosecutor, Barton, directed that the deal be sent back to Parliament for scrutiny. This is to establish whether or not there is some corruption or risk associated with the deal. Ben Boakye has been speaking to Joy Business on this development.
I think the challenge with the agreements as we have seen it hasn't been a suggestion to say don't do it, but clarify the issues that are in there. And once you're able to do that, we can come to a consensus to say, if the market is not interested in our terms, then we don't have to do it. Because you have to measure what is good for your country, why you are entering into it, and appreciate the dynamics much more broadly. And then you're able to take that decision. But what we have seen in the agreement over the time really shortchanges the country. And we have been wondering what really is informing those kind of things. For example, the valuation question. We haven't had any serious answers to why we valued the asset at 1 billion, except to say that, oh, it is just a number. It cannot be a number when Parliament has approved and assigned our right at that value. Because that also guides the market. When you go to the market and the market knows that your Parliament says that the resource is worth 1 billion, you don't expect the market to give you 2 billion. You understand? So those are some of the questions we have been asking. If you're saying that you are signing 48 leases, right, why are you making an argument with 12 projects? Because into the long term, what you are granting to the agreement is 48 leases, with also, you know, the first right of refusal for any further leases assignments to be given to Ijapa under the same terms of agreement. You know, these are overwhelming giveaways that we need to explain away. And I think what the special prosecutor has done is to really give all of us a breathing space to rethink the process, to see how we can look at the agreement again and see how it can benefit Ghana. If we think it cannot benefit Ghana, then we do away with it.
All the exposés that has come out so far, do you think that even another chance should be given to correct the process, or let's scrap it? Because there are people who still think that this whole thing is not worth it. Looking at what has come out so far, should we go ahead with the IPO and all the rest?
I've only heard bits of what is actually in the report of the special prosecutor. We need to digest it and see how it connects with some of the weaknesses in the agreement. understand, whether the corruption risk actually influence some of the, clauses in the agreement that makes it so terrible, right? And once we're able to do that analysis, we will bring it out for all of us to engage. And I think that's where the media becomes extremely important, to continuously engage on the specifics of the issue so that we can thoroughly debate the issues to ensure that this is royalty.
Well, away from that, the Executive Director of the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, Kosi Aya, has told Joy Business that the passage of the new act that rebrands it to Ghana Enterprises Agency is part of a long-term strategy for small-scale businesses in the country. Parliament yesterday passed the Ghana Enterprises Agency Act to change the name of the NBSSI into an agency in order to have a bigger mandate for SMEs. Speaking to Joy Business about the new development, Dr. Kosi Aya assured SMEs that more funding programs will be executed under the new mandate.
For many MSMEs across the nation, I think it's important for you, and also it's really vital that we actually celebrate the success. Why? What they need to expect is an institution that is strengthened and resourced to be able to deliver on its mandate, which is ensuring that there's enough financial support, because there's an SME fund that is going to be set up to ensure that the access to finance challenges that a lot of MSMEs face are really taken care of. It's also important for a lot of MSMEs to see and understand the importance of formalization, that this new institution will support and guide and really protect these MSMEs at a vulnerable time like this, to ensure that they are sustainable, that they accelerate the growth of their businesses, and that they are able to transform the economy and also create employment for as many people as possible. So the opportunities and the direction of this new agency is endless. As I've mentioned recently, one of the major things we've been able to do is fundraise, and importantly through our district offices to be able to implement and bring BDS support to the doorstep of various businesses and people across the nation. So what they should expect and continue to expect is better services. Being able to see that if NBSSI from a budget of 19,000 when I took over to 1 billion, this amount of funding is really to ensure that businesses have the needed support and resources for them to grow, accelerate, and really strengthen the Ghanaian economy.
Well, meanwhile, economist Richmond Frimpong is warning that Ghana's economy will suffer if stimulus packages are not paid back. Now, this, he says, is due to most of the funds being borrowed from external sources. There is more in the following report.
More than 400,000 businesses have applied for support under Nkoswo, a new COVID-19 recovery and resilience program introduced to cushion micro, small and medium enterprises from the impact of the pandemic. They are requesting in excess of 2 billion cedis, although the program being run by the National Board for Small-Scale Industries has an initial commitment of 90 million cedis from its partner, the MasterCard Foundation.
It depends on a number of things. So whatever package the government gave, it's called a stimulus package. And usually stimulus packages are meant to stimulate the economy. And so my expectation is that we know exactly given out as loans are going to stimulate to see off as output on the economy in terms of our GDP. If those figures come up in real time and they do so much that our GDP can now hold the debts that went out, the government may choose to say maybe you can pay them at a lesser rate. But to say it's for free would be strange, because those funds were not funds that were internally generated from our revenues. They were funds that we went borrowing for. And so for nothing at all, we have to pay those funds back the same way we gave them out. We can equally just rush out or clean out the rates of return or the interest rates. But to say they are for free entirely, that would be strange. And it's going to have a very difficult effect or nasty effect on our GDP, and most importantly, our debt to GDP. So it would be surprising if they are given out for free. I don't expect that it happens. It is possible to make it coupon zero or interest or rate free. But to say take all together over the period, I'm wondering where we are going to get the funds to pay back. That is why I'm saying that the output then of those funds in the businesses that receive them should have returned and shown back in terms of taxes, in terms of a number of things that the government has received because of the stimulus it gave. In that instance, maybe government can say, let me give them out. But looking at how it is going to take a very long time to get the economy corrected, it will be really strange to say they are for free. Let me say also that that conversation of free should not even happen now, because the moment you begin a conversation like that on funds that are payable, then you have a problem, because ordinarily our financial service sector is such that people are not very good at paying funds back. And so government is going to struggle, particularly when it's funds coming from government. So that conversation shouldn't come, even if the intentions are going to happen in the near future.
Launched on September 16th this year, the Nkwaswa program will provide financial assistance in the form of grants and soft loans.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Let's now do some stories regarding Ghana's cash crop industry. And of course, the country and the rest of Africa have missed out on the $10 billion trade potential of coffee on the global market. In an aggressive strategy to reposition and tap into this market, government will in the coming weeks roll out some incentives for all players in the coffee value chain. This includes loans and research development. Fifi Boafo is head of public relations at Cocoa Board, and he's been speaking at the just launched virtual conference of the Inter-African Coffee Organization's annual general meeting.
A big event where we have everybody within the coffee sector joining us here in Ghana for that very important program. I think to a very large extent, the talk about coffee has been on a low tone in Ghana, even though we all love our coffee. But we don't talk about it much. There's a new direction, and management of Ghana Cocoa Board, responsible for the coffee sector of our country, seek to ensure that we place more attention on the development of coffee. Inter-Africa Coffee Organization, now the chairperson for the organization is the minister responsible for agriculture in Ghana. It tells you the commitment we have as a country towards the development of the coffee sector. So this year's summit will be held here in Ghana. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we are unable to bring everybody here on board. Regardless of the challenge that poses, we as much as possible want to ensure that we give it the necessary attention and prominence.
Well, from coffee, let's now drift a little further to the aquaculture industry, because Ghanaian women constitute 70% of the aquaculture value chain in Ghana. But currently, challenges face the fisheries industry, from climate change to government bureaucracy, are killing the drive of these women. This is troubling, especially when their low productivity could have a toll on the cost and availability of fish. For AM Business, we tell the story of one such fish farmer, Patricia Safo, whose fish cage on the Volta Lake has been battered by disease and the lack of government support. In Ghana, the involvement of women in the aquaculture industry has largely been limited to the processing and marketing ends of the value chain. Whilst males continue to dominate the production of cultured fish, both at the nursery stage and the grow-out stages, most females who tried to have a stake in the industry could not withstand the heat of competition. They've had to give up.
The challenge of being a woman, a minority in the sector, it's been quite a challenging trip. But when you have a good team around you who understand, it's very important. As an entrepreneur, there have been several times when I didn't have anything in my bank account, and yet I had workers to pay, I had personal bills, but I didn't give up. Challenges will come no matter what you are doing, but your ability to ride on the waves, believing that the sun will definitely shine another day, take up whatever your dreams are and work very, very hard towards it.
We were the first people to be given permits on the Volta Lake. So we started the cage culture on the Volta Lake.
The few women left in the industry have not been spared the frustrating bottlenecks. One of such women is Patricia Safo. She runs the Crystal Lake Farms, ventured into aquaculture 2 decades ago as a fingerling producer as well as a cage farmer.
Coming into a forest and setting up an aquaculture farm, there's one challenge. The challenge of having the vision to start aquaculture on a commercial scale on the Volta Lake was also not easy. And the challenge of actually sticking with it over 20 years when so many fish farms have collapsed. We stuck with the Akosombo strain, which was an economic suicide because the farmers did not want that. They wanted the mixed breed. But we persevered with it, and then COVID also came along. So we've had double suffering. We have also suffered because when those who are growing table-sized fish, they have to sell their fish before they can come and buy fingerlings to stock their cages. And the COVID meant that sales were slow. So it means that production has moved back a bit. This COVID effect, coupled with the introduction of the virus on the Volta Lake, which wiped a lot of fish, has clearly affected farmers like us.
Patricia was the first to be granted license to operate a cage farm on the Volta River. After operating the cage farm for several years with several constraints, Patricia had to refocus and concentrate her energy on hatchery operation.
Whole compliance issue for the aquaculture sector. Not only that, we want to ensure that people who breach this genetic issues by bringing in all illegal species, viruses, and it should have a very, very strong punitive if anybody goes that way. There should be a level playing field, and the monitoring has to be enhanced. We want to see more genetic mapping on all the farms, and we want everybody who chooses to be a farmer to comply with the laws of Ghana.
Fish is the most important animal protein in Ghana, accounting for about 82% of protein consumption. Moreover, the relatively cheaper price of fish compared to the other animal proteins means that the year-after-year shortfall in fish production will affect the protein intake of the poorer segment of the society in the near future if nothing is done about it. You're still watching The Marketplace. I believe you should know by now. The JoyNews EcoBank Habitat Fair is up this particular Friday from the 6th of November, this Friday, to the 8th of November through the weekend. And we've been telling you time and time again about the various products in offer. The theme, affordable housing beyond the rhetoric. And today we have been joined by the head of sales for one of our exhibitors and even sponsors, DBS Roofing, Antonia Bosu. Welcome once again. The last time we had this conversation, we were gearing up to the housing clinics at the West Hills Mall. How was the feedback like? So far, I believe you've had some prospective clients who want to check up on your things ahead of Friday.
The feeling was very amazing. But first of all, let me bring you greetings from DBS.
Great.
We were very excited, and I, for one, that was my first time. And then I was surprised at what was happening. What happened was that I would like to touch on a few.
Great.
The turnout was great. People were coming to our stand. They were eager to be enlightened about our product. Most people also wanted to have free quotations so that they will know the cost of their buildings. Some people were even, as at the time we were at Habitat Fair, they had not done their foundations and they still wanted their discount vouchers so as to have the discounts before they start with the foundation.
Great. So it's been positive.
Yeah,
now,
it's been positive.
Just a day away from the main event Friday, Accra International Conference Center, how prepared is DBS?
What we are doing is that we are bringing our A game on.
Okay.
We are going to bring the A game because we are pace setters.
Okay.
We are going to bring every material on board, the aluminium sheet, the alu-zinc sheet. We are bringing the European tiles. We are bringing PVC rain gutters, PVC fascia. We are also bringing the shingles, which is the carpet type of roofing. And then we have them in various profiles. So you are going to see various profiles from the IBR IDT through to the MSL.
Okay.
You would also see the step tile, which mimics the clay tile. So we have a lot, engages too, and various colors. So you can choose any color that you want.
Discounts?
Yes, discount. We are giving a 7% discount for our materials. So if you are buying trusses, we give you 7% discount. If you are buying sheets, we give you 7% discount. So when it happens that you are buying both trousers and sheets, it means that we are giving you 14% discount for butchers.
Great. I can't wait to visit your stand on Friday. We're so grateful, Antonio, for that. And she's going to be part of several other exhibitors this Friday at the JoyNews EcoBank Habitat Fair. You just don't want to miss out on that. Now, let's now bring you our quick take for today.
You know, the fact is that we cannot guarantee supply of power if the monies are not paid or if the debt is not settled. That is the real fact. Yes.
Days or weeks?
In the next few, just you can talk from today. We can't guarantee.
And that was our quick take for today. The IPP's independent power producers threatening to shut down over government debt. That's how we end this edition of The Marketplace. I'm Charles Aya.